We begin counting, and as I do, I consider what my why is doing at the moment. They aren't counting any of the $1.5 million. Half of them aren't even married men. And if I tried to use this meager $1.5 million to support all of my friends, they wouldn't even have a house or a place to stay. How far would it go? Music. I know I had more money coming, but damn it. I started to feel like despair at that time. I guess with $1.5 million because, guess what? When I look around, I'm like, who else can I help get this in my heart if I'm going to reveal? Something that will make even the most tumultuous love and hip-hop reunion seem like a Sunday church service. So I want everyone to halt everything. You can guess who's finally done being a fool. That's correct. Young JOC just lost it. Kirk Frost may require witness protection. Believe me, Kendra Robinson's alleged business meetings are precisely what you believed. This time, it's not some Instagram groupie. It's young JOC's wife, Kendra. Miss, I'm talking about my law degree, not the drama, Kendra. You guessed it. Kirk's side babies were scandalous enough. Rumor has it that she has been assisting Kirk behind closed doors. I'm not referring to contract drafting. And that when JOC learnt of it, he did more than just verbally threaten Kirk. Rashida is packing her bags quietly while the furniture nearly flew and flipped, so let's dissect everything completely. How did Kirk mess up his final attempt at peace? How did Kendra become entangled? And why is young JOC prepared to destroy friendships and professions in a single night? Hold on tight, because this nasty bombshell will completely destroy your timeline. Those alerts. Because what I'm going to reveal is so unvarnished, disorganized, and rude that you might decide to cancel your own plans in order to watch every moment. How did we get here? How did young JOC let's travel back in time? Because the man who often dismisses everything with that silly smile flips a switch and exposes Kirk Frost, his alleged brother, in front of everyone who cares. Knowing who we're dealing with, Kirk Frost, reality TV's unofficial king of excuses side babies, and the fact that it's just business baby catchphrases for years is essential to understanding this fight. Rashida has been played like a fiddle by Kirk, who has cheated, lied, apologized, and done it again. But she has stayed, forgiven him, and given him more opportunities than he ever deserved by building that press boutique. Pretended that the ring on her finger truly meant forever. But here's the twist. Karma has a horrible sense of humor, and this time, Karma didn't send him a crazy groupie. Kirk never learns, or a baby mama secretly hiding in Atlanta's direct messages. Nope. This time, Karma sent Kirk a scandal by tying a large, fat bow on young JOC's housekeeper, Kendra Robinson, JOC's wife, the same one who stood by JOC when the entire city made fun of him for having more baby mothers than hit singles. Kendra was meant to be JOC's perfect example. She was elegant, well-educated, and drama-free. People truly think she was the one who tamed JOC's wild side while he was building jokes about his former life and his legal career. But behind that power suit and sharp tongue, Kendra was pulling Kirk. Frost, who works as a lawyer by day and an advisor by night, told Rashida that Kendra was assisting him with some paperwork to keep his firm running smoothly. The tax man wouldn't knock as frequently as he did a few seasons ago, but Atlanta and Messy Mona are never sleepy. As you are aware, I have spies. In the club, the barbershop, and yes, the courtroom lobby, and my sources began murmuring, "Lord," so I had to take it slowly. Apparently, Kirk and Kendra's business meetings weren't always held in boardrooms or court files. There were hush-hush outings that didn't make sense, late nights at upscale lounges, and automobile rides where Rashida wasn't there. When Rashida questioned Kirk about why he had to meet Kendra after midnight, he stated that she was handling private settlements. All right, so she's confidently settling something. Let's be honest, the JOC may make jokes about his own recklessness, but he doesn't fool around with that. When JOC learned that Kirk was keeping Kendra busy behind the scenes, he boasted about how unique Kendra was, how she never entertained mess, and how intelligent she was to cause another scandal. When pushed too far, the JOC behind Rashida's back did what all men do. He hit up. Mendy observes that, "Yes, mister, I don't mess with your mess unless it's my mess," and he typically pays attention to his business. But even Mendy couldn't remain silent when he witnessed Kirk entering hazardous terrain. This is because, guess what else Kendra had been providing legal assistance to? Mendy sees himself. It's rumored that Mendy contacts JOC one evening and says, "Bro, check your house before you check the club. your wife and Kirk. Mendy doesn't share lawyers' money or trust lightly, not adding up. As you can see from the sources, JOC initially chuckled, thinking that his Kendra would never do that. But then Mendy's eyes sank. Receipts for a recorded call in which Kirk Sweet and Kendra discussed how much they owed each other for keeping this private. When JOC heard the tape, Atlanta almost lost electricity due to the fury that erupted in his chest, and he didn't even go up to Kendra at home. Oh no, JOC went looking for Kirk, and he was found lounging in one of his lounges, pretending that everything was okay. Witnesses said that the moment JOC entered the room, the entire atmosphere changed. DJs turned down the music, bartenders hid behind the counter, and everyone knew that JOC was coming. Without wasting any time on greetings, the Love and Hip Hop UFC edition JOC approached Kirk, grabbed him by the collar, and yelled loudly, "You? Thought you could? It's not what you think, bro." Kirk stammered, "Of course he did. He tried the usual, bro. Use my wife to clean up your dirt. You must be out of your damn mind." "Business?" Rashida was asked by my lawyer, but baby JOC had finished listening, so he pulled out his phone, hit play on the voicemail, and let Kirk hear his own slick remarks on speaker for the duration. The pale JOC didn't swing yet, but he did lean in and say, "One more lie, just one, and I promise, cameras or not, I'm ending your time in the VIP section." Kirk's countenance changed from confident to corpse level, career and your jaw on the same night. Now stop right here. Where was Rashida during all of this? Rashida was at home putting everything together while the males were fighting. She's not new to Kirk's trash, but Kendra was dragging her in front of Atlanta like a homewrecker. Oh, Rashida was finished. Then texted Mendy to confirm, and then looked at Kirk's bank account. Claims that she contacted Kendra, but guess what? Kendra didn't respond. When Rashida doesn't receive a response, she doesn't cry. Instead, she plans in baby, knowing that her next step would cost Kirk more than a side. Chick controversy ever did. And guess what? This is only the prelude because JOC has another surprise planned after publicly embarrassing Kirk, and it involves we're ready to unravel that ambush, and the receipts JOC hauled out in front of Rashida and Kendra when we have a private meeting with the 3 key players. In case Kirk tries to change the tale, Kendra and Mendy may be secretly filming his own insurance policy. Don't blink, because this video begins right here. Get ready for the actual explosions. If you thought the ultimate finish was young JOC dragging Kirk by his phony good husband reputation in the middle of his own lounge, then that was it. I haven't even popped off yet, all right, messy squad? Only the teaser, since immediately following that extremely public humiliation, JOC determined that Kirk couldn't avoid a private meeting with Rashida. And imagine this, Kendra Robinson herself walks up to a VIP back room in a quiet area of one of Atlanta's low-key bistros, thinking that perhaps Rashida would like to hear his side of the story first. Poor man, he should. He read the room as soon as he entered and spotted Kendra silently staring at young JOC, who was sitting back in his seat like a mafia leader, Rashida, with a folder thick enough to bankrupt him twice. According to sources, Kirk froze at the door JOC, who didn't even glance up at first, and said, "Sit down, Frost, and don't lie. Not today." It looks like she's ready to sue the entire table into oblivion. Kendra tried to open her mouth to welcome Kirk nicely, but JOC gave her such a stern glare that she quickly clammed up. You could hear the ice in his tone. Rashida spoke first. And believe me when I say that Atlanta has never heard Rashida so coldly. She exposed all of the phone records, receipts, late-night card swipes, and dubious business transactions that were tagged as consultancy. You know Rashida? She had screenshots of text messages that Kirk believed he had erased, as well as some unguarded photos taken by a curious club promoter who saw Kirk and Kendra chatting in a VIP booth weeks prior. She doesn't yell unless she's pushed. But this time she remarked, "I've been humiliated for years behind your cheating, Kirk," without screaming or crying. However, involving JOC's wife in this is the last act of disrespect I would ever tolerate. Kirk attempted to spin things by, hurriedly, discussing miscommunications and legal confidentially, but he looked at Kendra said, "Help me out." However, Kendra was not having any of it. She slapped her tablet down on the table and opened emails that confirmed that she had done some JOC was sitting there grinning and taking in the spectacle when he leaned in and whispered, "So you mean to tell me my wife got dragged?" He was doing legal work for Kirk, but the so-called late-night sessions were never on her schedule. To hide your grime in the mud? She stated that Kirk played both sides, telling Rashida that, "You owe me and you owe her." Kendra attempted to clear her name completely. "I never crossed the line with him, JOC, but he definitely did with my side." Chick when he was doing his taxes and telling Kendra that he needed assistance concealing a hush money settlement. Reputation Rashida grabbed the girl, "And I trust you. But the receipts don't seem good, and guess what? Kirk is done making people feel uncomfortable under my roof, so it doesn't matter anymore." She slid an envelope. JOC glanced at the divorce papers across the table first, then whistled so loudly that the waiter cringed outside the door. Rashida only needed Kirk's signature on the paperwork. Shaken, he began by saying, "Please, let's talk at home, baby. I'm tired." Rashida interrupted him, saying, "No, Kirk, home is mine now. Press is mine. The TV checks follow me, not you. So either sign this or depart with what little dignity you have left, or continue playing games. And I'll make sure Mona Scott plays every filthy voicemail you've ever left." The JOC laughed. He enjoyed this. "You. See what you nearly got dragged into? Choose your clients better the next time. You're too classy for this fool's mess," he continued, turning to Kendra. Kendra scowled at JOC for making her feel uncomfortable, but she couldn't help but acknowledge that he had a point. She murmured, "I thought he was professional, so that was my fault." But wait, this ambush wasn't done. To his own amazement, he took out his phone, plugged it into the little Bluetooth speaker in the room, and pressed play on a brand new recording, not the voicemail Mendy had seen leaked earlier. The audio was shaky, but it was clear enough to crush Kirk Tipsey's pride, as he boasted to a friend at a lounge that he had Kendra wrapped and that Rashida was too busy shooting to check on him. Rashida gave a bitter last chuckle, and Kendra's face turned red as he pulled his chair back and yelled, "You done big, man, because if I hear my wife's name come out of your mouth ever again, I promise not to use words again." Kirk attempted to grab Kendra's hand across the table, perhaps pleading with her to attest to him, but she flinched away as if he were. The crack that was heard around Atlanta for the first time in VH1 history was radioactive. "Kirk, please don't touch me. Don't ever jeopardize my career again. We're done." The walls were closing in, and he saw he couldn't talk, weep, or negotiate his way out of this one. The only thing left to decide was whether he would sign that paper and crawl away, quietly or double. If you believe Mendy C's will just disappear from this issue, kindly don't close your tab just yet. Rumor has it that Mendy C's has his own insurance policy. Secret video from a private meeting Kirk had with an ex-girlfriend that took place after the Kendra scandal erupted claims that Mendy has been waiting for the ideal opportunity. Mendy wants to teach Kirk a lesson about respect for his wife, his business, and the brotherhood, so he takes the opportunity to leak that as well. What happens when finally, Kirk understands that everyone he believed would protect him, Rashida, Kendra, JOC, and even Mendy, has finished doing so. Part 3 is where it goes from scandal to full Kirk is homeless in a studio apartment, Rashidita is fabricating the largest come-up storyline in reality TV history, and young JOC is taking advantage of every scrap of petty retaliation against grab your popcorn and remain still. Social media, for the last blow is coming up next. Trust me, Kirk Frost isn't prepared for the karma that will break his last phony chain, so stay put. If you believe that JOC's public threat and Rashida's heartless behavior would never go unnoticed, then let's wrap up this video while it's still a good one. Let's prepare the scene for the spectacular finale, where secrets are revealed and receipts dance in the street. Kirk's circus act, baby, ended with the divorce ambush. Shortly following that humiliating encounter with JOC, Kendra, and Rashida, Kirk, who appeared to be a man whose entire legacy simply slipped out his cheap leather wallet, JOC, disappeared from the restaurant. Together, in complete silence, Rashida headed straight to her lawyer's office with that large folder of evidence, saying she wasn't only taking the house. Kirk believed he had one last card to play, Mona Scott Young, and pressed. She's freezing every joint account Kirk has ever touched. He assumed the producers at Love and Hip Hop would spin this disaster into a sympathetic arc. He would cry on camera while pursuing Rashida, and then, with a few staged tears, Public Redemption ended up purchasing the reunion special. But guess who phoned Mona? Before Kirk could even text them, Rashida Sis first met with producers and outlined her terms. She also decides how her divorce narrative is presented, and Kirk receives executive producer credit. Mona had no say in the editing, so she said, "Bet," because, let's face it, a betrayed Rashida is reinventing herself while Kirk breaks down. Kirk's tears are no longer TV gold, but Rashida's brutal retaliation is. Indeed. But wait, this is when Mendy reappears with his insurance coverage. You recall the hush-hush footage I hinted at in part 2? Yes, it turns out that Kirk's so-called business dinners weren't just with Kendra, though, according to insiders. He had a covert meeting with a former video vixen lover who hasn't spoken in years, but knew precisely how to call Kirk out on his phony Mendy, who has a reputation for being a changed man, finds security camera footage from that bar that shows a glassy-eyed, inebriated Kirk, leaning Wee to close and giving her a hefty envelope. What is that packet? Was hush money for her to avoid discussing the potential baby on Instagram Live? When JOC watched this video, he almost flung his phone across his studio because, guess what? Kirk said that Kendra was only a lawyer assisting him in resolving past troubles. The old flame was the issue, and Kendra was the smoke Okisi screen Dosso photo that this JOC displays on his. He sits in his car, pulls up the film on an iPad, looks dead in the camera and says, "You lied on my wife's name to hide this," without any warning, filter, or script from Instagram. "Kirk, you'd better leave because the next time I see you, security will be tearing us apart in a matter of minutes," as every blog from Valor Alert to the Shade Room has reposted. Rashida posted a boomerang sipping wine with her lawyer with the caption, "Leveling up in silence hits." But she didn't even remark on JOC's tirade, which was trending in Atlanta like cheap wigs during tax season. Kendra, who didn't remain silent either, organized a press conference, more like an Instagram story Q&A, and explained everything. Yes, she worked as Kirk's lawyer, but no, she never touched him romantically, but he lied about her actions to hide other affairs. She wasn't acting on his behalf in court, and she concluded by saying, "Ladies, be careful who you call a client. Some men drag you down even if you have degrees." And then Kendra abruptly changed her story to one of being manipulated. While Kirk's calls ended up in voicemail and Rashida Infant she lawyered up so much that Kirk most likely won't be able to purchase Uber Eats without her lawyer receiving the notification, according to insiders who claim she's going to hit him. With child support and spousal support claims, changes and commercial relationship terminations all at once essentially mean that Kirk wakes up bankrupt and alone. While JOC has transformed Kirk's, he's taping a special edition for his radio show, The Frostbite Chronicles: How to Lose Your Wife, Your Money, and Your Friends in 90 Days, in which he teases Kirk Frost about his decline into a brand new cash. How incredibly profitable. You know it now. If you believe Kirk has any chance of escaping this situation, think again. According to H1 insiders, he is on the chopping block. Rashida equals no. Don't think Mendy realizes it's over either. He's tight with the blogs and is leaking that information. A couple storylines means no tick. Mona's devotion was always with the ratings, not with Kirk's justifications. Mendy wants Kirk to understand that disrespect has a cost, and that the entire community is watching him if he attempts to publicly rewrite the story after hearing people tell messy Mona exclusively. Pay up. Phew. Now that Rashida is planning a return spin-off on life after Kirk's meltdown, Kendra is restoring her lawyer's reputation and blocking Kirk in order to gain clout and radio ratings. On both platforms, Mendy sees Kirk relaxing with a cup of tea, while sending his Dropbox links of Kirk, which are hilarious. And Kirk is simply sitting in a rental. Let's conclude with a question. Messy Squad. Is Kirk Frost's tenure as reality TV's most popular personality coming to an end? He is seeing his empire fall apart and writing apology texts that no one is reading. Proven cheater, is Rashida truly done with him? Or will she change the plot and forgive him again for the cameras? Is JOC finished threatening? Or will he continue to profit from this conflict for 10 more? I don't know about you, but I'll be right here, screen recording every mistake and sipping new tea as Mendy decides whether to drop the last nuke or keep Kirk on a short leash forever. I have one final thing to say before it spills, so don't scroll just yet. This isn't a scandal, it's a full-blown warning. If you notice your boyfriend acting like Kirk Frost, run, or even better, keep watching, keep nasty, and stay dirty because there is always drama at land, and neither do I. Roll the camera, secure the bag, and then give him the divorce papers on live TV askew. Squad Kirk Frost genuinely believed that he could manage a lawyer who also happens to be young JOC's wife, side women, and hush money, while still returning home to Rashida as if nothing had occurred. Kirk wouldn't be rushing for spousal support right now because delusion paid the bills. But now look at him. The receipts are out, the threats are genuine, and the whole city is seeing him lose every penny every day, friend, and all of his final justifications that he ever muttered on television. Rashida has finished crying in the confessional, JOC has finished laughing, and Kendra has finished being pulled into a disaster that she never agreed to. Mendy observes that he is only waiting for Kirk to make another mistake before completing the task. Therefore, it's your chance to comment. Do you believe Rashida is truly done for good this time, or will she forgives Kirk again for the sake of the past? Is JOC wrong to criticize Kirk everywhere he goes, or does loyalty have limits? Should Mendy drop the last nail in the coffin and bury him? You know more than the bloggers anyhow, so don't hold back. I want to hear every hot take, outrageous prediction, and harsh opinion in the comments section below. Want all the shady news before anybody else hits the like button so that this story continues to blow up. Subscribe so you don't miss the next revelation, and put on alerts so your dirty Mona is signing off as the first person to see the fresh receipts once I post them. But don't blink, because Kirk's next downfall is quickly approaching. Remain dirty, remain curious, and let's talk in the comments, everybody associated. For you just uploaded observed short.